Hello everybody, this is Editing Carri, just going on really quickly to say that I totally, when I was editing this, thought this was a what I crocheted in a week video until I started editing it, and then I was like, wait a minute, this is something that I recorded for the vlog that I don't think I put into the vlog, which makes complete sense because the vlog was missing so much. So I apologize for that. We're just gonna take this video as like a, hey, here are some new patterns I'm bringing to my market, and then I will update or do the what I crocheted in a week video as well, and it will include patterns, or you know, like you'll see some of these again. But I just want to come on here and record this because I was like, wait a minute, this isn't the video I recorded necessarily. I mean, it's still a video, but I was like, it's not a like what I crocheted in a week. I didn't film an outro or anything, so I apologize for that. This is just gonna be like a, ew, this is what I, like, I guess crocheted new pattern wise for the market. And then there will be a full what I crocheted in a week video next time. So I hope you guys enjoy this video because I'm gonna put this at the front probably, and we'll go from there. Hello everybody, it's Carri, and I'm assuming this might be the start of the video. I'm not 100% certain. I've been slacking a little bit lately on recording this content for this upcoming vlog, but if you don't know, I have a market this weekend. Technically, it'll be Saturday the 5th. It's October the 2nd as I am recording this right now, and so basically it's Wednesday. Of course, the market is Saturday. I feel like I've done as much as I can, but at the same time, it's like never enough, I feel like. Luckily, I did hold off on going to some of the stores that I have. So I feel like I've been able to like hoard some of the items, especially small items. So I've been able to focus a little bit more recently on like new items. I feel like lately that's kind of how it's gone. Like the whatever time before a market, I'll make like tons of new items, do all that type stuff. And then it seems like the week leading up to the actual market is when I'm able to like make new items per se. Basically, I just have some redoing of some of these new items that I'm just gonna make a few more of because I've already had some interest on them. And then besides that, I don't really know what I'll do. I do plan on riding my horse the next 2 days. I didn't ride today, so I could kind of work on some things. And then I need to check with the market manager, but I believe I sent them an email. I haven't heard anything back. I believe I can go over and set up things on Friday, which would be amazing. The setup time would be like 6 to 10 p.m. But this is the first market I've done that I actually don't have to bring my own tent. They have tents for everybody. So basically, I would be looking at bringing like tables, banners, chairs, the little boxes and crates and everything. They have overnight security. Granted, I'm not leaving any plushies just because I know they'll get stolen, and not to mention it's also like I don't really want to put plushies out because you will get morning dew. We have a really heavy dew right now, so I wouldn't want to put them out anyway, but it would be so nice if I could go and set up like the bare bones on Friday, and then Saturday the setup time is like 6:30 to 9:30. It would be great to not have to get there at 6:30. Supposedly, like even if I could get there more at like 7:30, something around that time range, just because I still have my barn to take care of course, and if I'm gonna be getting there at 6:30, this is a market that is further away from me. It's not as nice of a drive. So I would be having to get up at like 3 o'clock to get everything done here. So I would really love it if I could kind of come like a little bit later, not too late, because a swarm of people always show up really early when it comes to my stuff. I don't know, I feel like the last couple markets, I'm usually selling like my first item at 9 a.m. and it's not even like on the table, it's usually still in the boxes, and the market like doesn't start till 10. So I wouldn't get there like that much later, but it would be nice to not have to get there like, you know, at 6:30 per se. And they have like separate vendor parking for us, which is super nice because then I don't have to worry about like fighting somebody for parking. But even then, if I already have like tables, all that type of stuff already set up, then I could easily, like really easily, load everything on the back of my little pulley thingies and just walk it over. It would be like no problem. But I wanted to come on here and show you guys some of the new patterns. Now, hopefully by the time this video comes out, I will have updated the pattern list with some of these patterns. But if I have not, just like leave a comment, but leave it nicely. I get people who ask me all the time for like these items and stuff, like the patterns, and I'm more than happy to give it, but I will admit sometimes I get just like a little bit, if it's a repeat question. So I should have them updated. So if I do have it updated, then this should be like zero problem for y'all. This should be easy peasy. But I'm gonna show you guys some of the new ones. So of course, starting out, this is just something I'm doing for kind of this Halloween time. I have this witch cat. This is actually the base. I think it's like Itty Bitty or Bitty Kitty from Crochet with Bay, I believe. I will of course correct that if that's wrong. And then I just freehanded the witch cat, like the little hat and everything, and I did about 6 of these. It's not something that I'm gonna continue doing. I do sell this size cat in stores, but I didn't want to do it for like the market because it's just like another thing, and I already have the full-size loaf cat, so I'd rather like drive sales to those cats than start doing mini cats, because I feel like just in general, I feel like people might gravitate more towards this because it is cheaper. But I have like 20 loaf cats that I would like to get rid of before I consider doing this size. So I have these. This is a new pattern. These pigs are also a new pattern. So I already have them marked. I kind of had to do them at the same price as the loaf cats because they are a pretty close size. So I get asked a lot about like, how do I price my items? I'm gonna be honest, I probably don't do it the best way, so don't like follow what I say. There's people out there who like sit there and calculate the grams of yarn, how much stuffing you use, all this type of stuff. That is just like so beyond me, and I have no desire to do that. So typically when it comes to pricing items, I just kind of see what it sells at and then say if I have like a loaf cat or something that is pretty comparable size to this, and I know the loaf cats sell at like, I don't know, I think I have them at 25 right now. Then somebody, because this happens all the time at markets, I'll have people grab like an item and say it might be like, I don't know, $21, let's just say that. But say it's like a similar size to a item that's like 15. The person that is looking at buying the item, if they see that, I always get asked, well, why is this so much more? Why is this not the same price or the same size? Da 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 da. A lot of my pricing, I go off of like, okay, what's a similar size? This is pretty similar to the loaf cat, so I'm gonna keep the price about the same. I just have 2. I don't really know how it will sell. My pigs before really have not sold in so long, so it's like, okay, I need to try another pig pattern. But that's kind of how I go around pricing things and doing all of that fun stuff. I have 2 colorways of these 2 sheeps. I'm actually in the process of making one more in this color and then one more in the gray because I already have somebody who wants to buy this color, but they can't make it to the market. So I told them, okay, let's wait. Let me keep my stock. And then next week, if I don't have any left, I will gladly remake you them. Like, but since my market is literally coming up and you can't pick it up that day, let me hold on to them because I kind of feel like they're gonna sell pretty well just because this is a new item, and literally within 30 minutes I already have people contact me about buying them. So I am making like 2 more extra of these. This was just a random thing that I thought of doing. I've been asked before about sheep. Came to mind. I will say it is not the quickest pattern ever because you are doing these loop stitches, and on the tone of loop stitches, I also have this hedgehog. Now, this is not the only hedgehog I have. I have one in mustard spikes and I have one in dark gray spikes. I think it's cute, but I do have an issue with the pattern. So I do plan on the next time that I make these, if they sell, I'm gonna like do my own thing. It's a lot of this loop stitching, but it's loop stitching with a single crochet opposed to like the sheeps or whatever. You crochet everything and then you go back through and slip stitch the loop stitch. And the problem with doing it where it's actually built in, I understand it probably takes a little bit less time because you're not crocheting and then going back. But it is so incredibly difficult to do this loop stitch and not have holes because of the tension. And so I even scaled down. I think I scaled from a 5 to a 4 after the first one because the holes are massive, y'all. I'm gonna have to go back through and sew them and try and close them. So I scaled down, but it's still like, I don't know. I don't like it. So if these sell and they do well, then I will change things because I definitely do not like that aspect of it. I have these seals. So this seal right here, she's giving Debbie Ryan a little bit. It's like a little cheeky smile. But sometimes you just gotta go with the personality because you can sit here for hours and try and get everything perfect, and God, it's not gonna get perfect. So I have one seal, I actually have two technically. This is kind of a new pattern. I played around with it before but never got around to doing it, and it's just something simple. I don't really think I've been asked about seals, but it was an animal that I don't have. So the problem that I'm starting to run into is because I have so much variety is I am kind of running out of animal choices. I think I've got a lot of animals covered. So I'm like sitting here when I have to choose new patterns, I'm like, girl, I already have like most of these animals that people are like, hey, have you done this? And I'm like, yes, I did it like 3 months ago. So I have this seal. She's gonna go over in the box. I have the no-sew bunny that I did that pattern test for, and then I made one of the purple version too. I do actually pretty much like these, and I do plan on continuing to do them for the markets that they sell, because it is so nice not having to sew. My other bunny pattern, I mean, I literally was like sewing 7 pieces. It was like head to body, arm to body, ears to body, like way too much sewing, way too much for something that size and for its intended purpose. And this one has a cute little tail on the back, so it's a no-sew thing. Of course, the only problem is it is smaller than the other one, so I can't get away with pricing it too crazy, but then at the same time, I didn't really sew anything. I just made all the parts and then crocheted it into the body. I do have this one. These I just have one of because I don't know, I didn't really get around to making more. So I have a baby safe elephant. I think I mentioned this before, but this is actually was a custom order that I got, and I have been waiting for months to get paid for this, and I have gotten no reply, and I've tried to set up a pickup date, and there's just been like nothing's worked out. So basically my kind of thoughts is, if I don't get an answer from somebody within like a couple of months, I don't take payment beforehand. So I just consider that you voided your want of an item. Now, I have had it happen before where I have not heard from someone for like 6 months, right? And I've made contact and I just hear nothing. And then they'll contact me back 6 months later and ask me for their items, and I'm like, that's not how this works. Then I will remake the items, but I'm not gonna hold on to items for like, it's literally been 3 months. I'm not gonna keep holding on to them and having them sit in my room and collect dust and dirt, and just like, I don't have a purpose for them personally. I'm not gonna use them. So I'd rather sell it, and then if somebody comes back, then they can re-wait, or I can deny to make them again, and that's that. I mean, so this was one of them. So I just had this one. And then this was the second one, a little hippo, same thing, same person. They ordered like 3 items. And Catch-22, it's kind of good for me because I don't really have a lot of baby safe. I didn't make any snugglers this time. I didn't really focus too much on trying to baby safe too many of my items, just because I was just trying to have the items in stock. So having 3 amigurumi, like little stuffed plushies opposed to stuffies that are baby safe, isn't really a bad thing for me. But I do get asked about customs. I have drastically cut back on customs, and mainly the main reason for that is actually because of the stores. I've simply had 0 time between stores and markets. But once I hit, I think, November, kind of maybe even after this market, I'll take a few customs on, and then once I get through my November market, I'll switch in December to doing customs. Customs can be such a catch-22. I think if you have the setup to actually do more of just like an online shop, you have your specific item, that's what you sell and only that, and that sells, I wouldn't do customs personally. They are a very big headache. In certain regards, I have had so many amazing people who have gotten customs from me over the years, but at the same time, I've had my fair share of people who have not been that great. And whether it's from just like the personality wise and the way you're treated, or the money situation, I've had people that it's like, oh, we agree upon one thing, and then when an item's actually done and I bring it to them, it's like they try and swindle me out. I'm like, okay, I can't do this. That's my catch-22 on customs. So I'm not necessarily upset that this person didn't get it. Of course, I would have preferred to have the promised money, because it wasn't like a little money, it was a decent amount, but at least I'll be able to take these to the market and hopefully they sell there. And then I also have this small little dragon. This is the only one I've made because honestly it's super easy to make and really fast to make, but I've been so distracted by so many other things. So I have this one I just did in my favorite little color, the ice green, and then the yellow from Sweet Snuggles Light. And the last thing that I made this morning is this little goat. I realized I don't have any goats and I realized that I don't have any sheep. So you can tell yesterday I decided to do sheep. Today I did goats. I did this goat not necessarily head on, as you can tell. I didn't want it to be straight. I did it at an angle to kind of be like if it was looking a little bit. I did it a little blue flower because without the flower it was fine, but then I was like, okay, it kind of needs something to like pop it just because it is very mute tone and I'm not a really mute tone person, as you guys know. When it comes to my plushies in real life, I just like to wear black and gray. But I wanted to have a little pop of color, so I went for a soft kind of light blue flower with a kind of pastel yellow in the middle to just give it a little pop of color, and I think it turned out really cute. I made it this morning. It does require a decent amount of sewing, but I do think that it ended up being worth it in the end. So as for the rest of the night, I don't know if I'll update you guys, but I'm gonna be working on finishing up my last lamb that I have to make. I made the white one, now I'm gonna make the gray variation again. And then as for that, you know, I'm gonna see. I feel like I'm really tempted to make one more new pattern that's big. I haven't really had that many big patterns that I've added recently. I'm considering making one more, and it would either be a moose or a deer. Two patterns that I don't have, but I feel like it would be fun to make just more for like myself, and so that's kind of where I'm at. So I'm gonna get started because it is 6:03. Technically only have 2 more days, and so we're gonna see what else I can kind of finish because I have a ton of sewing that needs to be done. I have dragons that need to be sewn, I have other things that need to be sewn, I have like 5 flowers that need to be made. Girl, I don't have time to keep talking to the camera.